You think you know everything about personal income tax? That's what Bayo thought too, until he got the email from HR, where the email read, all staff are required to file their income tax returns by 31st of March. File to who? Which returns? I thought they already took the money. This is what Bayo thought. Bayo even called her and said, Guy, what's going on here now? They're asking us to file these tax returns again. And he was so confident. He said, no, don't mind them, Bayo. It's not for you. It's for rich people like Dangote and all those big boys. Then somebody called Bayo's attention to the Tax Reform Act of 2025. He said that we are required to file tax returns. Even your benefits in kind will now be taxed. What do you mean by benefits in kind? Is it the jollof rice they give us every Friday? No, that's not a Bayo. We're talking about the company provided accommodation, your official car, even the internet the company pays for you at home. That is when Bayo looked at his car key. Looked at it as if he had betrayed him. But that is not even all. Bayo heard that his crypto, the coins, all those digital assets will now be taxed. The Bayo started doing mental calculation. He started sweating. He didn't know what to do. But don't be like Bayo. Information is power. You need to watch this video to the end so that you can learn the 5 important things that you need to know when you're filing your tax returns. So these are the 5 things that you need to know before you file your tax returns. Now, there's no specific section of the Act that talks about the filing of tax returns. However, Chapter 2, under taxation of persons, talks about the people that need to file returns. There are 2 categories of people. The first are residents of Nigeria and non-resident. That means both classes of people are required to file tax returns. Now, for the purpose of the Act, Section 12 defines who is a resident. And I'm going to list the requirements of the people that are residents. So under Section 12, the Act refers to residents as follows. Number 1, somebody who is ordinarily resident in Nigeria. So somebody like you and I that are living in Nigeria full-time, we are considered resident for the purpose of tax return, and we are required to file our tax returns. Secondly, if you have a permanent place of abode in Nigeria, so even though you may not be living in Nigeria full-time, but you have a permanent place of abode here, you travel abroad and you come back here, then for the purpose of taxation, you are a Nigerian resident. Thirdly, if you are maybe like somebody living in the diaspora or you're an expat, but you spend at least 183 days in Nigeria, then you are considered for the purpose of taxation. The purpose of Section 12 considers you a resident of Nigeria. Also, if you have substantial economic and family ties in Nigeria, you are considered a resident. And lastly, if you serve as a diplomat abroad, but you're ordinarily resident in Nigeria, so even though you spend a lot more time abroad, but you're a Nigerian, for the purpose of Section 12, you are considered a resident of Nigeria and you're required to file your tax returns. Now, however, Section 17 defines who is a non-resident. A non-resident is somebody that does not meet all the items, all the things I've listed above, meaning that you are not ordinarily domiciled in Nigeria, you spend less than 183 days in Nigeria, and so on and so forth. Those are the people that are non-resident. However, for whatever the case, just with the requirement of what will be filed will be different, but both residents and non-residents are required to file tax returns. So that's the first thing that you need to know before you file your tax returns, whether you're a resident or you're a non-resident. Now, the second thing that you must know before filing your tax returns are which income or earnings that must be reported when you're doing your returns. Now, Section 4 of the Tax Reform Act lists the following income that you must report when you are filing your tax return. The first thing that you must state in your filing of returns is your income from all employment. Don't forget that the Act says, Section 12 already says that residents are supposed to, they are required to report all their worldwide income from all the world, everywhere you go, whether you are providing services in South America, in the USA, UK, other African countries, you are required to report all those income. So now, Section 4 now specifically list out those things. First, income from your salaries and wages, bonuses, allowances, fees, and commissions. Those are income from employment. That's the first thing. Now, benefits in kind. We talked about benefits in kind in an earlier video. These are non-cash perks provided by your employer. So rent-free accommodation, use of company cars, all such things. Those are things that you are required to report in your filing of your income tax returns. Thirdly, gains from digital or virtual assets. So if you have virtual assets, digital assets, all those things, coins, crypto, all those, any income that you make from such assets, you are required to report them in your filing of returns. The capital gains, if you have disposed of shares or any such assets, you are required to report that income in your income filing. Thirdly, if during the course of the year you have moved from one employment to the other and you have been paid off, if there's any type of income that you require from compensation from loss of employment, if it's below threshold, the final item that you're going to put on your tax returns is your foreign income. So if you have made any money from abroad, for example, you're going to deliver a lecture abroad, or you are going to do any business abroad, you have been paid any honorarium or any such income, this is also part of what you will need to put in your tax returns. So to summarize everything, the section 12 says that a resident, someone who is considered a resident for the purpose of the act, as highlighted above, are people who have met all those conditions and the income that they need to declare. So for me to paraphrase, employment income, details of your benefits in kind, gains from digital assets, any capital gains, compensations received, or any foreign income. All these are income that you will need to put in your tax return, subject to any exemptions and reliefs. And I'm going to quickly talk about the tax exemptions. So that section about the income is there. Now, what are the reliefs that you are going to claim? The first one is the tax exemption threshold of the 800,000 naira. So everyone will benefit from that. So if you're earning below 800,000 naira, you're not going to pay any taxes. If you're earning above that, then the first 800,000 is tax free. So you're going to put that as part of the reliefs or exemptions that you will get. And then secondly, you have the rent relief, which is 20% of your actual rent or 500,000, whichever is lower. This is another relief that you will claim, as part of to reduce your tax burden. And again, if you contribute to any pension fund or you contribute to National Housing Fund or any other expenses for the purpose of generating your income, those necessary expenses, which we call the REN, subject to those, we call the REN test, WREN, which is wholly, reasonably, exclusively, and necessarily incurred for the purpose of generating those income. All those are going to be considered as relief or exemptions, and you use that to reduce your tax burden. So let's go on to the next one. Again, in your tax returns filing, you have to do the computation reconciliation. So this is the reconciliation showing your gross income, deductions, your chargeable income, and the taxes due. This must all be stated clearly in your tax returns so that the amount that you are paying will be clear and you do not either overpay or underpay. And then lastly, you have to sign your tax return, whether it's a digital signature, if that's available, or it's a hard copy. You sign it and make a declaration that all the information that you have provided in the filing are true and correct to the best of your knowledge, because it's most places it is a crime to give false information. So let's go on to the final item. Having completed all the tax returns now, you have done all the paperwork, you have put all your income, you have put all your details, your tax ID number, you have claimed all your reliefs and all that. The final thing is the filing deadline. We're all doing this for a reason. Government specifies the time that all this information will be collated, and that's even for the remittance of the taxes. So there's a filing deadline, a payment deadline, and there are penalties that are involved.